Most people watching this think they have a training problem. They think they may need a new split, they need heavier weights, they need to go to failure, maybe beyond failure, maybe they need a new program. But what if I told you that your body might not be in the hormonal state that allows muscle growth at all? You are not failing, your internal environment is simply blocking your progress. And today I will explain to you exactly why. For the ones who are new to my channel, I am Dr. Nesh Jocic, former bodybuilding champion. I competed 46 times around the globe and won 17 titles. I have been in bodybuilding for over 40 years, and during that time I have personally coached over 3,500 clients and helped them to get in the best shape of their lives. During that time I have also published 12 ebooks for you, which are fully loaded with detailed explanations about everything you always wanted to know about bodybuilding: muscle growth, fat loss, training systems, training techniques, training splits, number of reps, number of sets, lifestyle change, nutrition. Simply everything is covered in my ebooks. So if you want finally to start building muscle and burning body fat, simply click on the link below in the comments and you can access my ebooks. Muscle doesn't just grow because you train hard. Training is just a signal. Growth only happens when the body decides that it is safe and efficient to build tissue. And this is, in the biological terms, considering evolutionary biology, very expensive and very unlikely process to happen. So basically your body needs to be safe and needs to be ready to build more tissue, because this is metabolically very expensive process. Your body is always asking, do we have enough energy? Are we under the stress? Is survival mode more important than growth? So these things are critical. And if the body senses stress, inflammation, poor recovery, or hormonal imbalance, it will choose survival mode over muscle growth. So you have to remember that. Now let me explain to you something very important. There are 5 hormonal factors that control muscle growth. So number 1 is testosterone. Testosterone is the building signal. Testosterone tells the body basically we can afford to build muscle. But if testosterone levels are low, it's very hard to gain muscle, is easier to gain fat, and also recovery will be very poor. So you see how important testosterone is for muscle growth. So what causes low testosterone levels in the body? First of all is chronic dieting. When people go on those extreme diets, low calorie diets, very restricted diets, they eat low amount of food, they eat many very small meals per day, thinking this is the best. This is actually the situation in which body is stressed. And this chronic dieting definitely lowers your testosterone level. Also stress. Stress reduces testosterone levels in the body, and more exposed to stress you are, lower your testosterone will be. So try to manage the stress and try to relax as much as possible. I have explained in many videos how to do that. One of the ways to lower your stress and also your cortisol is to do daily outdoor walks for 40 to 60 minutes. But if you're interested in that, go back to my previous videos and you can watch that explained in detail. So also when people eat very low fat and they don't have raw materials basically for building testosterone, materials like, first of all, cholesterol. Testosterone is cholesterol-based hormone, basically it's built from cholesterol, and also saturated fats. So if your diet is low in fat, something that has been promoted for decades as a healthy diet, which was obviously a disaster for most people, you will be producing very little testosterone. These factors, obviously chronic dieting, stress, and lack of fat, all causes significant testosterone drop in the body. The second hormonal factor, which is absolutely critical, is insulin sensitivity, and is directly related to nutrition delivery into the muscle cells. Now I have published a video which is basically explaining in detail particularly this subject. So if you're interested to understand more in detail about insulin sensitivity, so please go back and find the video and watch it. But let me tell you now that, first of all, insulin is not the enemy. Chronically elevated insulin is the very bad state that you should be in, but insulin itself is very, very important. And this is the hormone that actually pushes glucose and amino acids, nutrients, into the muscle cells. Now, if you become insulin resistant, if your insulin sensitivity drops due to probably wrong diet, which is most often the case, overeating carbohydrates, if you get there, then nutrients go to fat storage easier. Because when you become insulin resistant, your insulin receptors on the muscle cells will start closing and will not allow enough insulin, enough nutrients to come into the muscle cell. So if you become insulin resistant, your muscle cells will start shrinking simply because of the lack of nutrients. Nutrients will not be delivered as they should. Also, muscle don't refill glycogen well if you are insulin resistant, and you will stay flat, soft, and you will constantly be tired. And this is a big problem, especially for people over the age of 35, when the insulin sensitivity drops naturally, and obviously is impacted heavily by lifestyle, which is usually accompanied by a high carbohydrate diet and inactivity. So when people become insulin resistant, they start piling on body fat, but their lean muscle mass basically shrinks. And this is why they start feeling tired constantly, they're flat, they're not in the mood, and literally that insulin resistance is causing all these unwanted side effects. Now the third hormonal factor is cortisol. Again, there is the whole video on cortisol. So if you want to understand this more in detail, then you can go and watch that video as well. And this is the muscle brake. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone, and short-term cortisol is fine. Cortisol naturally goes up, raises in the morning, also while you are training. But if you are in the state of chronically elevated cortisol, simply you will cause a great muscle breakdown. Chronically elevated cortisol is caused, first of all, by poor sleep. So if you don't sleep enough, cortisol will be skyrocketing. Also very common, and this is too much cardio. I advise on that in many videos, and then again on the video in which I'm talking about benefits of outdoor walking, I explain exactly what you need to do considering low intensity, long duration exercises and why outdoor walking is beating treadmills and other forms of so-called cardio all day long. Another factor that causes chronically elevated cortisol is training to failure in every session. This is something that is happening all the time. I see people chronically elevated with cortisol simply because they are training like crazy every single time. I don't know why they're doing it. Obviously, the trends of heavy duty and Dorian Yates styles and these suicidal attempts to lift as heavy as possible are simply stressing people immensely, and they are increasing their levels of cortisol, which become chronically elevated. Another one, which everybody knows, is stress. So general life stress is another great cause of elevated cortisol. And if your cortisol is elevated throughout the day, it will simply be burning your muscle tissue and creating glucose throughout the day from muscle tissue, because the body will be constantly in that state of fight or flight. And for that purpose, the body will need constantly extra glucose. Usually that comes from muscle tissue. So your body cannot grow while it thinks is under constant attack or while is in that constant fight or flight mode. The number four hormone, which is very critical, is growth hormone. This is the hormone for repair and recovery. Now, growth hormone helps tissue repair and also uses fat. Is not only great muscle building hormone, but is also most powerful fat burning hormone. So, how do we elevate growth hormone, and how we allow the body to produce as much growth hormone as possible? Now, sleep is the biggest driver of growth hormone. You need to sleep. You need to go to bed before 11, that would be ideal, and sleep at least 7 to 8 hours. Your room should be dark and preferably cold. And if you spend long hours, long time watching your tablets, computers, phones just before you go to sleep, you are accumulating stress without knowing, and this is obviously causing lower production of growth hormones. So you basically need to calm down before you go into sleep in order to be completely stress-free, and this is the best state in which your body will produce growth hormone. If your growth hormone is low, your recovery will be very slow, and you will experience less fat burning and also less muscle growth. Now, the number five hormone, which is very important, is obviously the thyroid hormones. So thyroid and directly related to metabolic rate. So if your metabolism slows down, energy productions drop, training intensity efforts also goes down, and your recovery slows. So now it is important to understand what actually lowers thyroid hormones in the body. Number one reason for lowering thyroid hormones is going on low calories for too long. It's simply causing the thyroid downregulation, because people often diet very hard. They eat little, they eat small meals during the day, and they are simply starving themselves. So if you do that, your body will go into surviving mode, not building mode. And for that reasons, the body will slow down your metabolism, meaning it will directly lower the thyroid hormone production. So this is very important to understand. So why training harder actually makes all these things worse? Because people usually don't understand how hormones work and how they react when you increase the so-called intensity in the pejorative sense in your workouts. And this is the trap, basically. So you stop growing, and what should you do? Most of the people, when they sense they are not growing enough, they start training harder. But by training harder, they mean they should train to failure every set, every session. Also, they're using all these super high intensity techniques like supersets, 3 sets, forced reps, negatives, you name it. There are loads of them. And this is simply the situation in which they become overstressed. On top of that, if they think they are not in great shape, they will add more cardio. They will spend more hours on treadmills, step masters, on bicycles, pushing as fast as possible, as hard as possible. And that will again stress them even further. And to make it even worse, most of the time, most of them, they start dieting harder, meaning they start eating less. So their diet becomes simply diet based on egg whites, broccoli, cauliflower, chicken breast, tuna, and that's it. And this is basically disaster, because this type of diet and this mode of overstressing through high intensity, going through failure, going beyond failure, these are all perfect recipes for increased cortisol production, lowering testosterone production, and also reducing recovery. So now your hormonal state is even worse for muscle growth. More you push, more you lose, and the cycle continues. And this is why many lifters feel like they are working hard or harder every year, but that they keep looking the same. Sounds familiar? Are you maybe one of them? Have you seen so many people looking the same year after year, decade after decade? Yes, I did. And I do. And I've seen so many of them in the last 4 decades of my involvement in bodybuilding that it's simply shocking. But this is reality. So now let me tell you something about the science that your hormones are blocking your muscle growth. So you may be in the state of not growing as you wish you should, or you hope you will, because you're getting stronger, but you're not getting bigger. So this is the first sign. I again did a video just on that subject. A lot of people get stronger, but they're not getting bigger because simply they don't understand that strength and muscle growth, they have not much to do with each other. It's an illusion that if you become stronger, you will become bigger. Beginners, for example, they double their strength or triple their strength in few weeks, if not in few months, but they still look the same. And also with intermediates, they go stronger, they keep lifting those crazy movements, deadlifts, squats, all in wrong form, just piling weight all the time. And the final result is devastating. They're still the same. So this is one of the reasons why your body is showing you that, your hormones are simply blocking your growth. Because with that approach, just simply chasing weights in order to be stronger, you are not creating a perfect hormonal state for your body to grow. Also, if you look flat most of the time, this is another sign that your hormones are blocking your muscle growth. Storing fat easily, especially fat around the waist, is another signal that your cortisol is through the roof, that you are stressed, and that the body is more in survival mode than in the building mode. You constantly feel wired but tired. Your sleep is poor. You don't get pump while you're training, and you're blaming high protein, medium fat, low carb diet, but it's nothing to do with that. You simply do not accumulate enough glycogen because your insulin sensitivity is very low because of the stress and because of the wrong diet. Also, your libido can be low. So all these signs are actually suggesting to you that something is wrong with your hormones. You need to think about it, and they are actually blocking your muscle growth. So this is not a motivation issue. This is simply physiology. This is nature, and this is how the body works. So if you don't understand how your body works, it will be very, very difficult to build muscle, and you will most likely end up frustrated after the years of pushing hard, heavy weights, going to failure, but still not changing a bit. So let me give you a few practical advices how to create a muscle building hormonal environment. So first of all, sleep like growth matters. You need to sleep 7 to 8 hours at least every night in the dark room. As I mentioned, the room should be preferably cold, not too hot, too warm. And also this has to be consistent. You should go to bed rather earlier, before 11, because this is not, again, a hype. This is nature. This is circadian clock. This is how the human body works. And this will improve your hormonal balance. This will allow you to have maximum output of your growth hormone, and it will minimize your cortisol production. Also, in order to improve your hormonal environment, you should be eating enough fat, because cholesterol and fat support testosterone production, period. You go on a low-fat diet, especially if you're a natural bodybuilder, and you will feel testosterone decline immediately. All these low-fat diets, they were absolutely hype. People never changed on them. Even if they did, they bounced back after a few weeks or few months, because those diets are not sustainable. They are not natural. Humans never evolved for hundreds of thousands of years on low-fat diet. But we live in the time when the trend is always about high carb intake. Carbs are very important for your strength, for your glycogen, for whatever else. But actually, high carbs always means low fat. But if you go low fat, then you will be low testosterone. So the choice is yours. Another way to improve your hormonal environment is to control stress. So obviously we are all exposed to stress. There is no secret about it. We need to try to manage that stress. One of the best ways of managing stress is, as I mentioned, outdoor walks daily or 4 or 5 times per week, 45 to 60 minutes in the park, in the forest. This is a great way to lower your cortisol, but also you have to stop doing that so-called cardio, as I like to call it, because if you watch my other videos, for me cardio doesn't make any sense. That concept is invented by fitness industry. Everything is cardio. One particular type of exercises cannot be cardio exercise, because you cannot exercise cardiovascular system simply because it's not voluntary. So calling something cardio is such a nonsense. You have to exercise your muscles. They are the voluntary muscle group system that you can exercise. But now the question is, which type of exercise is the best for your cardiovascular system? If you want to know more about it, again, please go and watch my videos which are dedicated to this particular subject. Apart from stress and extra cardio, you should try to avoid junk volume. And these are usually reps when you start chasing failure. These are usually those reps in which you do everything to lift the weights. Basically, you forget about the form. You're not using your targeted muscle, you're using the whole body. Form goes out of the window. These are all junk reps. And when you accumulate those junk reps, obviously you are getting stress. Only stress you're getting out of it, nothing else. Probably many of you have tried. I have so many clients coming back, commenting, writing testimonials. You can check them on my YouTube channel. And they all say that, once I stopped chasing that last rep, that maximum failure, I started changing immediately. I feel better, I grow better, I'm getting leaner. And the reasons are not in any magic. I don't give any magical recipes for success. I'm just reminding you that you need to understand how human body works. You need to understand physiology. And when that happens, you will start changing. So basically, all I'm trying to do is to unravel something which is so transparent and obvious, and is really shocking why people don't understand it, why they're so hypnotized by these attractive, heavy-duty training systems, going to failure, proving something, God knows what, probably fighting their own demons in the head just by lifting heavier, throwing themselves on the ground and showing off in the gym. I mean, who cares about it? It just looks ridiculous. What about the results? Did you ever achieve any competitive body? No, you didn't. So you should stop doing that, because basically it's killing your hormonal environment. And another very important factor, as I mentioned, in order to improve your hormonal environment, that will basically allow you to grow muscle, that will make your body feel safe and free to build rather than to be in the state of survival, is to improve your insulin sensitivity. So insulin sensitivity will be improved, first of all, by following the diet which is low in carbohydrates. Again, diet which is high in protein, medium fat, low or zero carbohydrates. The second way of doing that is obviously to do bodybuilding workouts, because if they're done properly, your muscle cells will be more sensitive to insulin. They will grow. They will stretch the insulin receptors. So insulin will be welcome, and therefore you will be producing less insulin, and you will be constantly in that high insulin sensitivity level, which is critical for muscle growth. Also, eating less meals per day will improve your insulin sensitivity. So it's not the same for insulin sensitivity if you eat 2 or 3 times per day. It's not the same as eating 6-7 times per day. When you eat more often, you produce more insulin. So again, you see how simple things are. So you need bigger gaps between the meals. That will lower your insulin production and increase your insulin sensitivity. So you're going to be building more muscle simply because of these physiological states in which the body feels free to grow. So let me say a few final words. Muscle growth is not just about the gym. It's about creating the body that feels safe to build muscle. So if your hormones are out of balance, no program, no supplements, no some great training split will ever fix that. Fix is basically your internal environment. This is where the secret is. And if you fix that internal environment, you will start seeing results. You will start improving. Your muscles will start growing. You will start losing body fat. You will feel better. You will feel more energetic. You will be much happier. And this is all reflection that your hormonal balance is actually perfect. And there is nothing stopping you grow and burn body fat. So let me remind you once again that I have published 12 ebooks which are fully loaded with detailed information about everything you always wanted to know about bodybuilding. And if you want to deepen your knowledge and expand your horizons, simply click on the link in the comments and you can access my ebooks. Also, I would like you to watch this video in which I introduce my other services, the ways that I can work with you one-to-one, help you personally to get in the best shape of your life and finally start building muscles and burn fat. And these services are personalized training programs, personalized nutritional programs, online coaching, telephone consultations, and also for people who live in London or around London, personal training one-to-one. I would also like to remind you that I have just started my transformation challenge in which I will coach personally only 20 people and help them to get in the best shape ever within 90 days. So if you're interested in that, please watch the video on my channel, obviously, in which I explain everything about the details and also I explain how to enter this competition. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. That helps, as you know. Like the video, share the video, and also send me your comments. I try to answer as many comments as possible. It is a pleasure that the community is growing, and I am really very grateful for your appreciation and your support. And until the next video, I wish you all the best.